Hello and welcome back to Pillars of Eternity. We are at, well, I guess we'll call it the Hanging Tree. It's definitely not looking good in Gilded Vale. We were just speaking to Urget there and he didn't seem great. There is a sellsword here, like they have their own guard and they also have a sellsword. Let's see if he has anything to say. Move along. Great. I also saw these three talking about something. Okay. Then the bell rang. What if it's not the baby? Maybe Kolsk managed to... Hush, are you mad? Leave it for indoors. Kolsk was trying to kill one of the other Raiderics? Okay. Let's talk to him. Decent folk like you don't fare too well in these parts. Alright. Then nothing to say. Might as well head towards the inn, because that's where we were told to go. We do need to sell some of our stuff and get some supplies. Okay. Adir, he's named. Hello.
Were you looking for someone in that tree? I could introduce you.
That's a strange way to talk about your dad. He looks up at the tree and breathes out. Half the town's up there now, seems like. No right way to talk about it. I'm looking for someone who can help me feel better. He gives an understanding nod as he takes a long drag from his pipe. My condolences. He exhales and turns his attention away, watching the villagers around him. That it? The man smiles broadly. Welcome to our lovely village. Well, we were told to check the pocket, so let's see what's up with this tree. Scattered between the roots and bracelets of twine and bead, wilting flowers, and notes half erased by the rain. Okay, so who are we? Do we know which body it is, or are we just kind of looking around? Let's grab what's over here, at the very least. There doesn't appear to be a body to interact with, unless it's this one, because it's the only one that's low enough. Nah, okay, so I think he was just joking about checking the tree. Okay, let's head in. What have we got here? A couple of villagers. Alright. Things are bound to get worse now. Okay. Anything else? Don't be stupid. They can't possibly get any worse. Oh, that you just make me very happy about coming here to settle down. Very happy indeed. Okay, what's going on here? Aloth. You see 4 people gathered by the door to the inn. Their raised voices and chopping gestures suggest an argument reaching its climax. The first figure raises his hands for calm. His voice is partially obscured by a hood, but his height and stature suggest an elf.
I meant no offense. Let's put this matter to rest over a round, shall we? My treat.
Hoping to soothe our pride with a few Adira coppers, eh? We don't need your coin.
Hey, what's going on here? One of the other men points at the hooded elf. His eyes are red from drink, but his gaze focused. Mocking us even when he shatters the altars in our town. Just goes to show you what these fancy Adir manners are worth. We don't take kind to that kind of treatment. Not from foreigners. Especially not from Adirans.
Go on. Say it again. I'm itching for an excuse.
Fie, you're itching for the kindling touch of your sister, you cocksfeather!
Uh-huh.
I'll cut that barrel-licking tongue out of your head.
Uh-huh. Alright.
This is a misunderstanding. I didn't say whatever it is you think I said. We've nigh quarrel.
Plans is something surly and raw flickers through his eyes, it says. Interesting. I wonder whether maybe he's got some kind of possession thing going. It seems like there's something else there, right? Because it says horror and shock paint themselves across the elven man's face in broad, hasty strokes. So he knows that something has been said that he doesn't recognize or something. Maybe a bit of schizophrenia? I don't know. Trying to figure out what's going on here.
That's where you're wrong.
Yeah, let's try and calm the situation down a little bit. I want to know what's going on with this person. That's unnecessary. Wouldn't you rather be inside drinking than out here arguing? We don't want your charity either, foreigner. They squint at you through red, beady eyes. That sounds suspiciously like you're defending him. Oh, and now they're attacking us. Okay. Well, blind the angry townsman. Oh, he's dead. Next one. Oh, and they're dead. Okay. Well, that was something. Apparently we crit there as well, so we could see what was going on with that. Anyway. As the last of the attackers falls, the elf turns to you, the tension almost gone from his smooth face.
Not quite how I hoped to get to know the neighbors. Thank you for your timely assistance with that awkward situation.
I'm glad I could help. They seemed like they were about to attack you.
Courtesy is a rare pleasure in these parts. Though your accent suggests that you are no more local than I.
Uh-huh. He straightens his hood and you notice the remains of fraying embroidery on his gloves. His boots are caked with the dirt of many months' travel, but the leatherwork beneath it is sturdy and fine. So he's wearing fine clothes that were fine when he set out, but aren't great anymore. So he probably set out from a noble place, but didn't have any money when he did it, I guess.
Well, I suppose introductions are in order after that little fiasco. Aloth Corvusser, at your service.
I mean, he does have a second name, so in this part it appears he's probably pretty noble. So tell me about yourself.
Well, I'm a wizard by training, and an adventurer by necessity. I was born in the Seathwood, part of the mainland of the Adir Empire, and both of my parents served the nobility, which afforded me an education for which I am grateful. However, there were no open positions in those houses, and so I decided to seek new means in a new land. And how exactly did you come to be here?
Well, I was traveling with a caravan, but we're separated near some ruins.
In Gwithan Ruins? Well, those can be dangerous places during the best of times, which these are not. And half the locals would arrest you for trespassing, and the rest would kill you outright. I'm curious, what exactly did you find there?
You know what? I think we're going to be a trusting person as well. We're going to tell people, if somebody asks us something and we don't have a reason to distrust them, we'll just be we'll have trusting as our default setting. So, the question is, do we tell them we saw Beowulf or several hooded figures operating a strange machine? I think the figures are more interesting than the Beowulf, personally. Let's tell them about the figures. Aloth goggles you silently, apparently assessing your earnestness. Finally gives you a clipped, awkward laugh. Ha ha!
You do manage to find yourself in rather interesting predicaments.
Yeah, talking of that, how did you manage to cross those three drunks?
I'm afraid that was a matter of misunderstandings and mistranslations. It doesn't help that people in these parts remember their war with Adir like it was yesterday.
You did tell that one man to go fuck his sister. Ah, that. He clears his throat and adjusts his sleeves. Well, as I tried to tell them, they misheard me. Happens all too easily after a few pints, and the accent doesn't help. Yeah, but I heard the same thing. Just for a moment, he looks like he's about to say something else. His expression brightens with mischief. Before he can speak, he forces a tight smile, biting his lip so hard you expect to see blood. Finally, his face relaxes and he shakes his head. I should speak more clearly next time. My apologies. What are you doing in Gilded Vale anyway?
An excellent question. I came looking for fresh air and cheap land. Instead, the magistrate gave me directions to the inn and a story about the local lord's expectant wife. But I take it that's a familiar tale.
Uh-huh, yep. And you? Yeah. I've been experiencing strange things of late. I'm looking for an expert on souls.
Indeed. The local lord has searched far and wide for similar specialists. He has rid himself of them almost as desperately.
He nods towards the gnarled tree in the center of town. I expect that such expertise would be best sought elsewhere. You don't look like a settler.
Begging your pardon, but neither do you. Yet, circumstances can find a person in the strangest of places.
Well, it was nice meeting you, but I should get going.
As should I, given recent events. It's just as well. I've had enough of the watered wine and lumpy beds at the inn. They say even the owner tired of the place. Just up and left one day. It explains quite a lot about the upkeep. Perhaps I could join you. I could use a change of scenery, and I find it's better to travel in numbers.
Well, I mean, he does sound like a bit of a liability in terms of aggravating people, but on the other hand, he is a wizard. We need people to help us clear out a few things, and he would definitely be useful. So do I. Let's go then.
Excellent. I shall follow you.
I suppose both being elves means that neither of us are likely to get attacked for being on our own. So we have Eora. Let's level him up. So I think we get 1 level for him, yeah, because his level 1 was chosen, we get to choose his level 2. And what are we going to do? He appears to be really into lore, like lore is his thing. Okay, it only costs 1 point to advance that from a 4 to a 5. So I think we 100% have to do that. It just seems foolish not to. Again, athletics, we need to do it so we get the second wind, and survival, we do it so we get the one that we get the camping bonus. So now we've got the bonuses for things that we could need. Stealth, I don't think we need him to stealth. Almost athletics or survival, or maybe we just put it into lore again. We put another one into lore, and then he had some in mechanics, but we won't ever need him to use mechanics because mechanics are kind of for us. Yeah, like we can use all the mechanics, and we can save our points, so we'll save it like that. Class unlocks. We get to choose 1 spell from. Okay, it has to be a level 1 spell. So we got Chill Fog. Calls blindly white icy fog into existence, inflicting blindness and freeze damage over time to any in that area of effect. Could be useful. Staff. Creates a glowing coarse staff of pure energy for the wizard to wield. Yeah, I don't like melee attacks for wizards. That doesn't sound like something we want to encourage. Eldritch Aim. Grants the caster otherworldly sight and preternatural accuracy for a short period. That sounds like something we would want him to have later. Like, early on, I think we want spells that just do something, and later on we might want things that buff us to make it more likely we'll hit our more powerful spells. Fleet Feet. Empowers the target with unnatural speed, increasing their movement rate. Maybe? I don't know. Ghost Blades. Calls a field of unearthly blades into existence, inflicting immediate pierce and hobble deflection onto targets within an area of effect. Hobbled reduces their dexterity, movement, and reflex. Maybe. That could be useful. It's a cone attack, so not too bad. Jolting Touch. I dislike touch abilities if we can avoid them. But it jumps from the caster's fingers to the nearest enemy and then to the next nearest, so it hits 2 enemies. That's not too bad. Plus 2 full jump targets, so it could jump to the next 2 enemies. Alright. Cool. Sunless Grasp. Hand becomes... this is a touch ability, yeah. And I want to try and avoid that. Slicken. Coats the ground with a slick oil-like substance, inflicting knockdown on anyone in the area of effect. Yeah, that could be cool. Yeah, that could be useful. Spirit Shield surrounds the caster with a shield of spirit energy, granting increased damage reduction and concentration bonus. Could be useful, but we want to avoid it them getting hit in all circumstances anyway. Or Thrust of Tattered Veils. A quick strike of crushing force, dealing little damage but having high chance to disrupt enemy spellcasters. I don't think we're going to face many spellcasters, so... Ghost Blades, to be honest, sounds like my favourite one. It inflicts Hobbled, which seems like a good thing. It does a reasonable amount of damage. It does 21 to 32. How much does... Slicken doesn't do any. And Chill Fog does 13 to 19. So yeah, I think we're going to take Ghost Blades for just now. Okay, cool. Taking it. And now we have a class talent. So we can go for Arcane Veil. Conjures a protective shield of magic. Greatly boosting the wizard's deflection. That's 2 per rest. Grimoire Slam, 1 per encounter, allows the wizard to smash an enemy with a grimoire energized with spiritual energy, causing a large damage and knocking their target back. Could be useful as a backup. Blast. Generates a blast on a target when using a wand, rod, or scepter, doing modest amounts of damage to all enemies in a small area around the target. It doesn't do that much damage, but does go through some damage reduction. So it's basically like a basic attack in terms of damage. Oh, and it's passive, so that's just on every attack. It'll now do this. Oh, okay. We could go offensive and get a bonus of a weapon. Don't think we need to do that. Defensive, could do that as well, but I don't think we need any. I think what we want to do is either Blast or Grimoire Slam. Grimoire Slam does a lot more damage and gives us a kind of defensive thing here. Blast, I guess, would add to the wand's damage. Could be cool. I'm going to use Grimoire Slam for just now, though. There we go. Done. He's set up. Let's have a look at what he has on him as well. Well, we'll loot the bodies. Yeah, all of that can go to our stash. Let's see what he has on him. So he has a hatchet, he has a dagger, he has a mace, he has a rapier. That's us. He has his grimoire, which tells us his other abilities. Because he is a because he's a wizard, if he doesn't have the abilities in his grimoire, then he can't know them. Interestingly, right, he starts with 3 known abilities, right? And 1 ability in his grimoire which he does not know. Now that's very interesting to me, because that would imply that this isn't his grimoire. Or like he inherited it from someone, or he stole it from someone, because he doesn't know all the spells in it. That'd be my guess, is what it's trying to indicate. Costs 100 copper for him to learn the spell permanently. I think it's worth it. I think we'll spend it. I know we have 100 copper because we started with 150, but I think it's worth it just to have an extra, like, you know. Means that if we want to use that later, then we can use that later. And I want him to actually have ghost blades instead of this thing. He also has Wizard's Double. Combat only, not in Grimoire. Creates a duplicate of the caster to distract enemies, grant the caster high deflection bonus until he or she is hit or crit. Cool. How do we move stuff into your thing? Ah, we do it like that. Okay. So, we want Ghost Blades. I think we want Wizard's Double. Dazzling Lights. Overwhelms anyone in an area of effect of brilliant and bewildering terror techniques to display, decreasing their will and leaving them dazed. No. Fan of Flames. Cone of Flame. Definitely sounds good. Actually, let's compare that to Ghost Blades. Ghost Blades in a cone does 21 to 32 pierce damage. And this one does 32 to 45. So this will do a ton more damage. Okay. And minor missiles. They would deal 3 projectiles that do 13 to 22 crush damage. Would that be each? Or does that only do... Or is that just one? I think that must just be one. So 13 to 22. But it is fast. And isn't AoE. How much does the grasp do? 19 to 28 freeze damage. I think we actually want Dazzling Lights, as weird as it sounds, because the other 2 are damaged, so we might as well have 2 buff. There we go. He has a tattered robe, he has his hood, and then he has his leather armor that gives him overseeing, which is 10% ability area of effect. Okay. Cool. I'll leave it at that. We only have 90 currency
Ready
now,
when you
that's
are.
fine. So let's head in the inn. Yeah. Okay. Well, I've got a lot of people in the inn. Not many people who we can directly speak to, but... Or like that have titles. That's fine. Maybe we'll find someone in here who's useful. Villager. Ooh, these people are named. Alright. Let's head on in. And let's talk to Pascal.
Hello.
And welcome to the Black... Oh, greetings and welcome to the Black Hound Inn. The innkeeper bows her head curtly. Please sit where you would like. Would you like a drink or a room? We have 2 available at the moment. I'm afraid I can't offer much in the way of a good meal today. She sighs. Unless you're fond of cold porridge. You only serve porridge? Aloth looks at you and shakes his head quietly. It isn't by choice, I assure you. We used to serve some of the finest meals in the Dyrwood. We've had a damnable run of luck is all. We've had a bad season for the crops and running low on supplies. I sent Tenrith off north to stock up. Tenrith's our cook, you see, an artist with a good roast. But it's been days since he was supposed to return. We haven't seen any sign of him. I have. I've only taken over from the last owner myself. I don't know what I'll do if he doesn't turn up. I could try and find him for you. Really? Her face brightens. I'd be grateful if you did. He was travelling through the Vale Wood. It's probably nothing, a broken wheel maybe. I do worry. You see him safely home, and I think everyone in here would sing your praises. Nobody much likes my porridge. Well, first things first, I could use a room. Of course, we keep them nice and tidy. As we'll have a common room. Doesn't give us any bonuses, but it is free. Let's deal for our stash here. We don't need any of this stuff because we just don't need it. It's just not useful. There we go. We could probably sell some of that, but I think it's fine just now. Cool. And we'll have our rest. Looks like a nice room anyway. Don't need a fancy room that gives us mechanics and perception or something. Your sleep is restless and fervid, assaulted by hisses and whispers, blanketed with a suffocating anxiety. You open your eyes to awaken and find yourself in front of Gilded Vale's gallowed trees. The creaking of its ropes growing louder in your mind as the sound is deafening. Hanging from the tree is an old dwarf woman whose face is shriveled inward like a mouldering fruit. Her head hangs limply to one side. As you look at her, she looms larger and larger in your mind until she is mere inches from your face. Suddenly her head snaps back, her eyes open and they are empty, and behind them is vast nothingness that makes your stomach drop. Her mouth slowly parts, and with a gust of rancid air she speaks a word. Watcher. You jolt awake, the foul smell of the dwarf woman's breath still permeating your nostrils. Sweat drips down your face in thick droplets and your skin is soaked from head to toe. You remember the woman. You remember seeing her decaying face when you spoke with the magistrate. He called her an animancer. Though it fills you with a new queasy apprehension, you feel a strange compulsion to see this woman once more, if only you could confirm she is truly dead. And we gained experience for this. Alright. Well, I think this is a good point to end the episode. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.